Original post, September 5, 2023. Background: my 36 female, sister-in-law 40 female. I've been married to her brother for over 10 years and there's always been some jealousy and resentment from her. She's always felt like I had the life she wanted, not necessarily with her brother, but the marriage, family, and job stability. I have 3 kids, 10 female, 8 male, and 3 months female. She got married last year and they decided to start trying for a baby, but she was unfortunately told that she can't have children naturally. She was understandably devastated, and the family comforted her as best as we could. We recently had a family dinner and in the middle of it she says, "OP, I think it's really unfair that you got to have 3 kids and I can't have any. Your baby is my last chance to raise a child, so I think you should give her to me during the week so I can create a motherly bond with her, and you can have her on weekends." Before I could respond, the entire table erupted with everyone talking at once, so I took my older kids upstairs. When I got back to the dining room, her husband was asking what the hell is wrong with her and why would she even think to ask that. She was trying to justify herself when I asked them to leave. I also said that she's no longer welcome at my house or around my children until she gets help. She started screaming that I don't deserve my life or my children and that I stole her baby from her. Her husband and mother-in-law kept apologizing and dragged her out of the house still crying and screaming. Now my kids want to know why their aunt wants to take the baby. Edit: I've been reading the comments but it's too many to reply to, so here are a few points. 1. We have a security system and cameras already installed and no one has keys to our house. 2. I will not be able to get a restraining order as this one incident isn't enough to justify it. 3. My husband and I spoke to the older kids about it the same night and will be having another talk with them to reinforce that sister-in-law is not a safe person anymore. 4. Our country does not have the right to bear arms and I also have no interest in getting a gun. 5. I'll be informing the school and daycare of the issue and giving them her photo. For those questioning the validity of the post, I completely understand. If I had heard about this last week, I wouldn't believe it either. But it's unfortunately the situation I'm currently dealing with. Relevant comments. Comment 1. Being diagnosed as infertile after a year is pretty early. Is she sure she is? OP, she was having issues not related to trying to conceive and the fertility issues were discovered in the course of trying to sort out those other issues. Her tubes are blocked and although IVF may be an option, they're not in a position to do that now or in the near future. Comment 2. Was her husband aware she was going to try that? OP, he wasn't. He actually called the next day to apologize again. He said he knew she was having a hard time accepting the infertility and they were looking into counseling for it. Update 1, September 17, 2023, 12 days later. So, my sister-in-law has been admitted to a psychiatric facility. In the comments of my previous post, I mentioned that her husband was seeking out counseling for them to deal with the infertility prior to this incident. After the incident, he sought out a psychiatrist rather than a counselor and they had their first session last week. I didn't get the specifics of what happened, but basically, she made some statements that the psychiatrist felt indicated she was a danger to others, my baby and me, and she was placed under an involuntary hold. My brother-in-law has been nothing but apologetic through this entire ordeal and he kept her away from us since the incident. Mother-in-law was staying with them to keep an eye on her daughter. She tried to leave the house in the middle of the night to see her baby. Also, my brother-in-law found her researching how to induce lactation and she said it was to make sure she can feed the baby properly when I come to my senses and give her up. From what my brother-in-law has said, seeing me breastfeed is apparently what triggered the entire episode. It was the first time sister-in-law was around the baby for any length of time and she was holding her when she got fussy because she was hungry. Naturally, I took her to feed her, and this made my sister-in-law feel inadequate because it triggered the thought that she would never be able to do that, which led to the events of the last post. I'm grateful for all the advice that was offered on my last post as some of it was really helpful. We won't be moving as it's not feasible for us at the moment, but we have taken extra steps with security both at home and at the kids' school and daycare. This whole thing is taking a toll on the family, but my mother-in-law, father-in-law, and brother-in-law are taking care of my sister-in-law. My husband and I are focused on ensuring the safety of our immediate family and minimizing the effect on the kids as much as we can. Update 2, December 29, 2023, 3.5 months later. I've had a few messages asking how things are going, so I decided to update. I have not seen my sister-in-law since the incident happened and I also blocked her on my socials. My in-laws have been amazing through this entire situation and are not sharing any information about our family with her. Unfortunately, she still remains fixated on my baby. She tried to find out where the daycare is and even threatened to hurt herself if my in-laws didn't tell her. This led to another stint in the psych ward. She wrote me a letter begging me to be fair and let her see her baby. I didn't actually receive the letter though. My mother-in-law read it and just gave us the gist of its contents. Sister-in-law's husband is working with her psychiatrist to see how best she can be helped, but he has said he doesn't know how long he can deal with this, but he's giving it 6 months. It's a very sad situation for her and I had hoped she would be able to deal with whatever is happening. At this point, we're completely no contact with her. We explained to our older kids that their aunt isn't well so she won't be around anymore. We still see mother-in-law and father-in-law regularly, so I'm grateful we didn't have to cut them off. We spent the holidays with my family, and it was all very nice and uneventful. We're still on alert in case she escalates, but the hospital where she's warded isn't near us and they don't live near us either. So we've accepted this as our new reality and we're operating accordingly. Relevant comments. Comment 1. So her husband would just abandon her then? Have her committed? OP, not everyone is equipped to help someone through a mental health crisis. I suggested a therapist to him because he's been very focused on her mental health but hasn't considered his own. Hopefully the therapist will help him deal with the situation. I don't think he's hard and fast with that timeline, because he said it at a point of frustration. The counseling they were seeking out was specifically to deal with the infertility. I don't think he will divorce her after 6 months, but it's just been a lot for him to deal with. They've only been married a little over a year. Update 2, April 26, 2024, 4 months later. 7.5 from original post. So, lots of people have been messaging and commenting asking for an update. Firstly, my family and I are safe. Sister-in-law was eventually released from hospital to continue outpatient treatment with a psychiatrist and she's on some meds. My husband met up with her, her husband, mother-in-law, and father-in-law to get a feel of her mental state. She was very apologetic and seems to understand the issue with her previous behavior. She asked to see the kids and I, but that was of course a no, and my husband let her know that she will have no access to us for the foreseeable future. Since she was discharged, mother-in-law has been awesome about letting us know when she would be at their house so we wouldn't run into her accidentally. Mother-in-law also told my husband a few days ago that sister-in-law has been saying it's hard not being able to see the kids. She told him for information's sake and not to guilt him into changing our boundaries. Sister-in-law and her husband are looking into migrating to give her some distance in hopes that it will help her heal. I'm hoping for the best for their future, but it will be a future without my kids and me in it. Relevant comments. Comment 1, being apologetic while also still wanting to see the kids. Those two statements don't mix. Does she think she can have a normal relationship with them now? OP, before all this she was a very good aunt to my older kids. So in conversation, she asked my husband when she would be able to meet with me to apologize in person and if she would be able to see the kids at all. He made it clear that he would be the only one she had access to. Comment 2, would it be possible for her to ever foster or adopt a child? OP, adoption is very difficult in our country and unfortunately because of her now documented mental breakdown it will be impossible for her to do either one based on the requirements. Comment 3, how is her husband handling this? He sought therapy on his own and has decided to stay for now. He's pushing for them to migrate as he thinks space is needed for her to have a chance at healing. Story 2. Am I the asshole for yelling at my brother's girlfriend because she is trying to get rid of me? Original post, March 17, 2024. As the title says, I, 15 female, think my brother's girlfriend Julie, 24 female, is trying to get rid of me. I live with my brother because after my parents divorced none of them wanted me so my brother took me. He was 18, I was 8. We lived alone together until a year ago. He got a girlfriend. She doesn't live with us but she is at our apartment a lot. I don't really like her but I already know he kind of has some resentment toward me because he had to take care of me even when my parents were still together and he couldn't have a life because he was always busy with me. I think they want to get married, and I'm scared about where I will go. My mom doesn't live in the country, she went back to Korea after the divorce, and my dad is busy with his new family. Anyway, after school I wanted to use my brother's phone to watch something. I saw a notification come up at the top and it was from my mom. I was really curious because I don't talk to my mom like ever and I didn't think he did either. Long story short, he wants to send me to live with my mom in Korea because Julie wants to move in and start a family. She said that when they start their family they don't want to be looking after a teenager as well. I didn't tell him anything and just put the phone back. I went to sleep really scared and now today I went to my cousin's house and told him what my brother was planning to do, and he told his mom. I didn't do anything wrong, I'm always nice to her, I don't know why she doesn't like me. I really don't want to move, I have friends here and everything. I thought he loved me and wouldn't make me go back to her. My cousin's mom ended up asking him why he was going to send me to live with my mom and he asked her how she knew. She said that I told my cousin, and he told her. My brother took me back home because he didn't want to cause a scene at my aunt's house. When we got back, he asked me how I knew and I told him I saw his texts to our mom about how he was sending me away. I was really mad, and I was yelling at him. He just tried to hug me and sat down on the couch with his head down, not talking. Then like 10 minutes later Julie came. When she came in the living room, she asked what happened and my brother said she knows. Then Julie tried to talk to me, and I stood up and started yelling that I don't know why she has a problem with me but I'm his sister so I'm not leaving. I also called her some names because I was really angry. Then, to my surprise, my brother pushed my shoulder and told me to go to my room. I asked why and he yelled at me to go to my room. Julie was crying at this point. I went to my room and cried. I still think he is going to send me away. I don't know why she doesn't like me. I didn't do anything to her. Am I the asshole got yelling at my brother's girlfriend? I told my friends about this and they said I shouldn't have yelled because she probably has her reasons to want me with my mother. Update 1. So I went home to talk to my brother and I wrote a letter to give to him like some of you suggested as I didn't think I could talk without breaking down. The letter basically says that, I'm sorry for yelling at you and Julie, I was just scared. There are many things I don't know about my parents and how you have felt about the last 7 years. But I do not want to go back to my mother. And I don't want to move country. I gave him the letter after school, and he didn't read it in front of me. I came out of my room a few hours after giving it to him and saw him crying in the kitchen. When he saw me, he hugged me and told me he was sorry and loved me and didn't know what to do because Julie wanted to move in and she didn't want to be taking care of me because she's only 24 and wants to live her life. Julie also came over and I apologized to her properly. I'm writing this in my notes and waiting for another update to put all the info from today in one update. So it's been a few hours since then and he sat me down to talk again with Julie for some reason. Anyway, he told me that he was just exploring options because I can't live with him forever. Obviously I knew that. But why doesn't he want me now? What did I do? He also told me that he's booked a ticket for me and him to go to Korea to see my mother, her husband, and house. I'm fine with that because if he's there with me then he can't leave me there without me knowing. But he told me he is leaving a little earlier than I am because he has work. I believe that but I'm also a little suspicious that he is going to leave me there and not take me back. I leave for Korea in 2 days and I'm staying for 2 weeks, he is staying for 1. So that's all I have for now is that I'm going to Korea soon to see my mother for the first time in 7 years. I don't feel happy or sad, I just feel nothing. I feel like I want to die. And here's some clarification because people keep asking the same questions. I can't stay with my aunt as she has 4 kids already and can't take care of me. I believe my brother has guardianship of me but I do not know because he doesn't tell me anything. Julie has done many things to me along with the leaving me at school thing. She's fat shamed me, made fun of me, is always trying to get me out of the house, and always ignores me whenever my brother tries to get us to hang out together. When Julie was trying to talk to me after I found out, she was saying things like, please try to understand, and, it's what we think is best for your and our futures, and, your brother and I want to move forward, and I don't think we can do it with you. They've only been dating for a year and she's saying all this but whatever. I know my parents both send money to my brother to help with me but I do not know if it is formal child support. I don't have any friends to stay with. If my brother didn't take me and I would have either gone into a foster home or my mother would have taken care of me, although she didn't want to, which is why she wasn't the first choice for who would take me. My father is in another state with his new wife and family. I am half Japanese and half Korean so going to Korea would be hard for me, considering the history. I also have a Japanese name so it's not like I could hide it. I barely speak Korean, and moving would mess up my whole education. I'm smart in English, not in Korean. If you have any more questions just ask. I'm going to talk to my school counselor soon, but it might not be before I leave. I still really love my brother and I don't want him to go to jail or go no contact with him. Update 2. Hi again. It's been a few days since my last update, and I hope I didn't worry anyone too much. On Friday last week I, against what many people advised, got on the plane to Korea. I don't know if it was because I was too scared to ask for help or speak up, or because I had a large amount of trust in my brother. We arrived on Saturday in Jeju, a Korean island, which is where my mom lives, and met her husband, and her stepson. Her husband is nice and so is my stepbrother. I talked to my mother about everything. It's a long story but after my parents' divorce she wanted to keep me. But my father told her that taking me to Korea and away from him would be a big mistake and she felt scared to go against him. I don't know why he would say that and then abandon me as well. I didn't know this, but my dad was kind of abusive, not physically though. The reason there was conversation of me going to Korea was because, Obviously, what my brother and Julie thought, but also because my mother wanted to see me again. She wanted me to have a place in her family and she wanted my life to be like a normal 15-year-old's, with a parent and a brother who acts like a brother. The ticket is a return ticket, but honestly, I don't know if I want to go back to the USA. I don't want to be where I'm not wanted, aka my house if Julie moves in. I go to a Korean language class every day so I can improve my Korean if I decide to go to school here. And I think I might. My mom's husband says he will tutor me, and they talked to the school and they said they would adjust some things so I can fit into the school nicely and take exams. My stepbrother helps me with my Korean homework, and we go to the beach together even though he barely speaks English and I barely speak Korean. Jeju is nice but they live in a small town so I barely get Wi-Fi, which is part of the reason it has taken so long for me to update. My brother is still here with me but is leaving on Friday. His plan now is to come back to Korea to take me back to America so that I know he isn't leaving me here. His plan changed because I told him I was scared he was going to abandon me too. I told him this on the flight and he got a bit emotional again and told me he would never do that. I want to thank everyone for all the suggestions and advice, but I would rather be here than emancipated or even in America. I don't want to be reminded of my brother if I don't get to stay with him. As for Julie, I haven't spoken to her since I apologized. I don't care what she does anymore. The sad thing is I could have stayed in America if I fought hard enough but I'm just so tired. I'm tired of feeling like this and I'm tired of no one wanting me. I wish I was better then maybe they would have kept me. I wish my brother never did this, I don't know why he is abandoning me like this. Anyways, learning Korean is easier than I thought, and staying here is quite fun honestly. I just wish the circumstances weren't my brother not wanting me anymore. I'm sorry to everyone that I disappointed by not being strong enough to stand my ground and stay in the USA, but I believe that if I stayed it would have just gotten worse. Lots of people said that I should show that I can help a lot with the baby, and I could, but if one day I'm too tired or just don't want to help, they could just send me right back to Korea. Why would I want to live my life pandering to people who didn't want me in the first place? I'm clearly very disposable to them. This won't be my last update. My last one will probably be telling you all if I do stay in Korea. I just want to say once more thank you all for your help. Relevant comments. Comment 1. Info: are your parents giving your brother money to help support you? OP: I think my mom does because she gets money from my dad to give to my brother and she also gives her own money but for the most part my brother takes care of me with his own money. Update 3, April 16, 2024. So it's been almost a month since I posted on here and I thought I would give a final update on this. If you read my original post and read all the updates you can see that I am in Korea right now, and this is where I will probably stay for the rest of my life. I would have updated sooner but I couldn't bring myself to do anything. I always feel tired, and if I try to do anything I just end up crying. My brother went back to the USA and I told him not to come back. So many people told me that it was his turn to live his life so I let him go. He doesn't have to deal with me anymore. The day he got back he FaceTimed my mom to try and talk to me as well but I didn't want to. I couldn't even look at him or listen to his voice without feeling like crying. I'm fixing the relationship with my mom slowly, we go out together and talk. My stepdad is nice too, he always buys me stuff and helps with my Korean homework, so does my stepbrother. I play video games with him, and we play in Korean so I can get better at it. I really miss my brother. If I could go back in time I would have done anything and everything to make him want to keep me, but I guess he never will. I don't know if I can or will ever see him again. I miss my cousins and my family in the USA. I don't care about Julie anymore, she got what she wanted, she has them all to herself for their family. And I hope they have one, a really happy one and I hope they never abandon their own kids like they abandoned me. Lots of people were calling me spoiled, snotty, and a brat. You can think these things I don't care but I really didn't do anything to deserve this I think. Korean is a lot easier to learn than I thought, I don't think I'll struggle too much. As for my dad, I don't think I'll ever even talk to him in my life, but it's not like I want to. Also, Julie isn't pregnant, I asked my brother and I don't know if he was lying or whatever, but he said she isn't and they were just thinking about the future. I don't even care anymore, they can literally never talk to me again and I don't know if I'll care in like a year. Hopefully I can move past this, but I feel like it'll just be messed up like this forever. I just wish my life was normal. And some people thought I was lying, I wish I was, but I guess my life really is this weird. There's nothing wrong with me either so I don't know why for more than half of my life, nobody has wanted me. I have some friends here too, that I met in Korean school. My brother was a very nice man, and I hope life is very nice to him, he didn't deserve it, I wish I never burdened him. Maybe he'll see this so, I really love you, Yukio. I wish you could have been my brother instead of my dad for most of my life. Some were worried about bullying because I'm Japanese, but we'll see once I go to school. Relevant comments. Comment 1. I'm so incredibly sorry for you, my heart breaks. It's very good that you can learn the language, it's very good that you get along with your step-sibling, and it's very good that you don't search for the fault in yourself. You really got dealt a bad hand in life. And please stay strong. Life gets better. I didn't believe it myself, at times I don't believe it still, but I'm at a point in life where I can choose the people that are in my life, and it's so much better than it ever was. You will meet the people who would rather die than live without you, so make sure you're still here when they find you. I wish you all the best. Update 4, April 26, 2024. Hey, been in Jeju for a while and I'm liking it a lot. I'm also learning Korean pretty well. I actually talked to my brother a few days ago and it wasn't very eventful. He asked how I was and if Jeju was nice. I told him I was fine, and Jeju was pretty. I talked to him like I barely know him, as if didn't live with him since I was 8, so that made me sad. Him and Julie are still together, but I really don't care about Julie anymore. Like really, I don't even hate her anymore, I just don't care. I guess that's a step in the right direction. People were suggesting therapy, but it's hard to find a therapist here that speaks fluent English. I can't express myself in Korean like I can in English, so going to any random one and using the basic Korean I know just won't really do me any good, I think. Some people had random questions that I thought I would answer. My stepbrother is 16, almost 17. I don't really feel that bad toward my mom because she was never bad to me. The only bad thing she did was leave me, and I didn't really care that she did before because I had my brother and she really is trying her best now. She was really depressed in her relationship with my father, which explains the way she acted. Jejuan is different to Korean, but I've found that like nobody speaks it here. I think it's an endangered language. If I ever talk to my brother again is something I don't know about right now. Whenever I think about him, I get really mad instead of sad now. I wish I never forgave him. I want him to know that I am really mad at him. But I feel like my emotions are something I can't talk to him about anymore. The way we talk is like he's a really distant family member that your parents force you to talk to on the phone whenever they call and they're like, "I used to change your diapers." But you have no memory of them ever. It's like that. Kind of sad cause he's my brother, but I guess it's his fault. I was walking home from school last week after I went to the beach by myself just to sit there for a little. And to get home from the beach I walked near this cliff. I was really sad that day and I kept thinking about home and my brother. I was also feeling really worthless and like nobody wanted me that day. And I just felt this really weird urge to go to the cliff and jump. Like literally just jump off of it. So, I walked towards the edge, then just stood there. I don't even know why, I just did. I was genuinely about to jump off and then I just didn't. Don't know what stopped me, but I'm glad it did because that would have been really stupid. I hope I don't feel like that again, cause what if I actually do it? Like that just scared me really bad. I don't know. This won't be my last update, I guess. It probably won't, because after that last paragraph I wouldn't want to worry any of you with me not updating. Some days I'm fine with this and some days I'll lay in bed and wish everything was just a dream and I could go back to how it was just a few months ago with my brother. I always wonder what my life and health would be like if this had never happened. Another thing that scares me is that I don't know if I can ever go back to my normal self. When I was 8 I was completely fine when my parents left, but when this happened I feel like I went crazy for a little. Some days I wish I wasn't alive, and I never used to think like that. I'm always tired and I haven't slept more than 5 hours in like 2 months. I feel like my brain is different ever since this happened. It's insane. Like I genuinely think I'm a different person now. Is that weird? Dang, this half of the post is really sad, haha. Anyway, here's some pictures from Jeju and when I went thrifting. If OP was my sister and my girlfriend started trying to get rid of her, I would have dumped my girlfriend so fast. Like, how do you decide a few-year relationship is worth more than your relationship with your sister? I can't imagine being such a big POS that doing something like that is something I'd even consider. Anyway, I hope OP is able to enjoy her teenage years a little bit. Thank you for watching, I hope you enjoyed, even if it was a bit of a sad note to end on, and I will see you in the next video.